That's why they're so red right now, because I have my contacts in way too long.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in to the
He always has to
Cellini
start with that
Rounds
voice. My eyes look crazy.
podcast.
Man, I look like I punched
Michael,
in the
you're
face.
interrupting my introduction with your
Sorry.
freaking self. You're treating this like a mirror.
Well, because I just took my contacts out and my eyes are bright red.
Never mind. I was about to do like a formal intro for the podcast. God forbid. Hey
Go
guys,
do a formal
welcome.
intro.
I'm Jim, Michael, and Tommy. Here's the podcast.
There you go. Sorry for ruining
God
it.
almighty.
Hey, we're back.
Hey, we're back.
What are you do the
Talking
intro,
over
Jim?
me. What are you, my wife?
Hey, Jim, do the intro. Come on.
So bad.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into the Cellini Rounds podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Jim Cellini. Sitting here on first base, Dr. Michael Cellini.
I mean, how many times is he going to do this?
I know.
The third base coach is Thomas Cellini. He's a fellow at, do we say where?
No.
Okay. We don't say where, but he is a breast imaging fellow. They're a radiologist. I'm merely a veterinarian. Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having us, Jim.
Happy to be here.
Michael, why don't you start off by letting
Okay,
us know
still
what you've
going?
been up
Okay.
to
Yeah,
this
I
past
can't.
week?
I can't even listen to you anymore when you do
I
this
know.
baseball announcer voice.
No, he's just doing it to
First
be
of
annoying.
It's terrible.
Okay, I'll stop.
Oh, thank God.
Michael, what have you been up to the last week?
I don't know. What have I done? When was the last time we did a podcast? A week ago?
Yeah, something like that.
I think
Say
so.
Thursday? I don't even know.
Today's Thursday. Last weekend, honestly, I don't even know what we did.
Okay.
We
Tommy,
went out
what
to
about you?
dinner. Yeah, went out to dinner twice. Went out to dinner on Friday night. Went out to dinner. We went to the city to celebrate Nano's birthday.
That's right.
Andrana's brother's his 40th birthday. Went to the city.
I didn't know he
And
was
then-
my age.
Yeah, and then I realized that I hate going to the city every time because the traffic is. I swear that the traffic gets worse and worse in that city, in New York City, every single time. Like we were coming back at 12:30 a.m., so like midnight 30,
Oh my
and
God.
bumper to bumper traffic
No.
on the Verrazano Bridge. Bumper, there's always bumper to bumper traffic going in and out of the city. It's unbelievable. I've never seen a time where there's not.
Is it? Are you serious? Could you
That's
not
why
just
I
take
hate
the
going
train?
there. I could, but not that late.
Yeah, it's kind of gets a little sketchy.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah, you don't want to do that.
And then the water taxi, you can't take that because I think it stops at like 10 p.m. or 9 p.m. or something.
Mm.
So you have to drive in. Driving there isn't too bad, but then the traffic on the way back, I'm like every time.
What were you doing until 12:30 at night? Just like drinking?
No, we were just out with. I was driving, so I didn't really drink at all. But I was out. We were just hanging out at dinner. Dinner was at 7:30. We didn't leave until like 11 something.
Sounds
I
like
don't
you had
even
a great
know-
conversation.
Yeah,
I can't physically stay up that late.
yeah, you can. Yes, you can.
I don't think I
Not
can
anymore.
either.
100% you
anymore.
can.
Yeah, I guess I can. If I'm playing
I mean,
Call
you
of Duty,
definitely
like,
can't. If something was exciting you and you were having a good dinner with friends or something, you just
I'll
leave.
never have a good time at dinner.
Yeah,
Michael.
I mean
Don't
that's
you
what I'm
dare.
saying. You're like, well, I know I'm having a good time, but it's 9 p.m. I gotta bounce, guys.
Everyone
No,
around
you
me
just-
bores me.
Yeah, you just enjoy your company and hang out.
Tommy, what did you do this last week? Go to work?
Yeah, I worked a lot last week. Still was trying to figure out all the systems and stuff like that at the new fellowship and everything. So I was bogged down with that. I think God, what did we do on we were in Roscoe Village on Sunday at your old stopping grounds, Jim.
Oh,
Actually walked right by your first house when you moved to Chicago. Because the was it Roscoe Street? I forgot what
1908 West School Street.
West School
Yeah.
Street. Even I remember that.
there was. I forgot what festival
Lovely
it
little
was.
street.
It was like Roscoe Fest or something like that, but it was on Roscoe Street. It was that festival.
Is it Burger Fest?
No, Burger Fest is the one that runs on Belmont when they move it down. But this one was
Oh,
like
yeah.
a different Roscoe Fest.
Do you remember when there was a band at Burger Fest that
Oh,
we
there's
were
a-
watching? And then at the end of their set, they were like, "Thank you, Burger Fest."
Yeah, dude,
Literally,
literally.
that was so funny. They were like,
So-
"Thank you, Burger Fest."
So literally all these. So Chicago has like street festivals, and it's literally
Yeah.
like every neighborhood will. There's like 2 or 3 neighborhoods every weekend in the summer for like 3-4 months straight. So you can find one anywhere, and they just block off whatever street is in that that neighborhood.
Yeah.
And then they have like vendors, artists, food trucks, all this stuff. And they always have a band at like either side.
Yeah.
And there's a handful of bands in Chicago that show up to every single one of them. But the funny
this
thing
their
is,
time. This is their time to
the funny
shine.
thing is, so 16 Candles is like the main one. They're like the most Chicago band of all time. I don't think they've ever played a concert outside of Chicago, but every single time, every person who's from Chicago, you go to one of these things, they go, "Oh my God, 16 Candles is playing," without fail every time. And I'm like, they play every concert, every single festival all summer long for the past 25 years. Like, of course they're there.
Do they play any original songs, or is it just like I feel like I'm envisioning them covering like
Oh, it's all cover bands.
80s and 90s music.
That's
pretty much
literally what it is. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's exactly
Like,
like 80s rock.
what's the
It's
guy's
not
name?
barbecue fest, is it?
Yeah, Guns N' Roses.
No, it wasn't
that kind
barbecue.
of stuff.
Yeah, it's like Guns N' Roses. They'll play that stuff. It's literally, but it's so funny because it's
Bret
universal
Michaels.
Chicagoans. They'll be like, I mean, I think it's hilarious, but they'll be like, "Oh my God, 16 Candles." I'm like, "Yeah, guys, this is what they do." But we
yes, they close with "Don't Stop Believing."
I was just about to sing the lyric to that song because I know they were playing it.
but well, no, there was a boy band.
Sitting in the smoke.
God, what was it? There's like a boy band cover band.
Thank you. While they play the intro.
But so they did that, Jim. They go, there was like 200 people. This was Sunday night at like 9:00. They were like, "Thank you, Roscoe." There was like 200 people. Like, what are you
God.
guys? Relax.
Was it like
Yeah. Yeah.
and the crowd goes
it's
mild?
a bunch of tired moms.
Yeah. I mean, it was pretty like, it was all 30-year-olds because they played like Backstreet Boys and stuff like that.
They're like this. They're like,
Yeah.
So stupid.
No, but it was fun. We went with Mario and
They,
Chris. And
they
walked
pulled their
around.
shawl closed and they
Yeah.
yeah.
It-
Was it
it's-
Oyster Fest?
No, God, I think it was just Roscoe Fest.
Okay.
I can look it up. I forgot which one it is. But Mario used to live over there. So they're always fun because you just hang out and walk on the streets.
Yeah. You just walk
like,
around and just drink.
Yeah. And like see
Yeah, of
little art
course.
vendors around Chicago and stuff. And
Yeah.
occasionally see a band. And
What
it's,
about
My
that's like-
my singular favorite Chicago memory was on like November 2nd, 2016, something early in November when the Cubs won the World Series.
oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah,
I was
those are
cutting
the
I was doing a back surgery on a dachshund, and I just moved there like 2 months before, and we lived like 8 blocks west of Wrigley Field, like straight west on the same road, pretty much.
Yeah.
And,
literally the same road.
It's not the same road, but it's like
No,
one block south.
Yeah.
But
Same.
so I used to ride my bike to work, and I'm doing the surgery. I'm finishing up the surgery at like 11:30 at night, and then and we know the game's happening, and the tech's like giving me second by second like updates on her phone as I'm like I'm closing the dog, I'm suturing, and she goes, oh my god, they did it, oh my god, they did it. And I just hear fireworks and just explosions and Roman candles, and I can hear and see people outside the window of the hospital, and you can see like it's just lights going crazy, cars are honking. I was like, oh my god. So like 45 minutes later, dog wakes up, I call the owners, I go home, and I'm riding my bike through like, it's like the movie Children of Men, where it's just like cars are on fire, people are on their bikes. Literally, I saw a guy on his bike just shooting a Roman candle indiscriminately, like around like this, screaming. People are just like with their beers in the hand, just going, oh my god. Like people are just like crying in the streets.
This is probably
It
the
was-
closest you came to like a country that winning a soccer game or something.
Yeah.
Like winning the World Cup.
I was
Yeah,
like,
winning the World
and
Cup.
I'm just like walking, I'm tired as hell.
Football.
And I'm just like walking or riding my bike through it, just like slowly. And I'm just like soaking it all in, just like slowly riding my bike home. I was like, this is
The flares.
incredible.
Yeah.
Like,
don't know if
I've
you-
never seen anything like this.
Yeah. Do you remember? So I was staying with you that month. That's when I was rotating.
Yeah.
Where I eventually ended up doing my residency. I was rotating, doing a pulmonology rotation my 4th year of med school. And I was staying with you guys that month. And I had to go into pulmonology the next morning. And I was watching it with Liz. We were like, holy shit. I forgot.
Oh, really? You guys were watching it at home?
I think Liz and I were watching it at home. I know I was at your place and I was lying on your couch.
Because you stayed with me
Yeah.
a bunch.
You're definitely at his place.
Yeah. I mean,
Where
I
else
was
would
there,
you be?
yeah, I hadn't moved here yet. So I was
Tommy
just,
stayed at Jim's place for like
yeah,
a
you're
year.
the only
straight.
person in Chicago I knew. So
Do you
it was
remember-
this-
So you matched to your first, or what do you call it, intern PGY
yeah, my
one,
enter year.
PGA
Yeah.
Tour one,
Yeah, my
PGA
PGA
and
tour, my live.
and the PGY Tour. And do you remember when I helped you move in and I freaked out over how small your apartment was? I
Yeah.
was like, I can't be here.
Yeah, you wouldn't let it go. I was like, dude, relax. I was like,
Wait,
you
the
have to
what?
seal it.
So I helped Tommy move in. I think I basically did I move you in by myself?
So I was in Thailand when they let me move.
Yeah, the guy's in
into my-
Thailand and I'm moving his stuff for him.
So I moved all my stuff.
You were
to
moving
Jim's.
and stuff.
I mean, first of all, I had like
That's so Tommy.
sheet,
That's such a Tommy thing
one
to do.
mattress, and
I
like
know.
He
three pairs of
downplays
pants.
it. It's probably like a
You know,
whole setup.
His entire existence fit into a shopping cart like a homeless person.
Yeah.
Literally, I mean, my entire existence fit
Including
into
the
their
trench
guest
coat.
bedroom. The trench coat. So I had like nothing.
Wait,
I mean, shit.
So hold on. You left to go to. Let's rewind here. So you
All right.
left to go to Thailand.
So
What was
no.
going on in your current home situation?
So I had planned to
You
go
didn't
to
have a home.
Thailand. Hang on. All right. Just let me finish.
Oh wait,
I'm not letting you speak.
wasn't your stuff in Georgia?
So
All right,
yeah,
let him talk. Let him talk.
yeah. Can I?
All right.
You want me to
No,
explain?
start
or
from
you
the
just
top
gonna-
here. Rewind.
Yeah. So I matched into. So it's fourth year med school, and you know how you float around.
Can't
all
wait to
that
make
stuff.
fun of you.
So I'd like half the rotation sites I spent. I just stayed at Rob's parents' house for like 4 months. And
Yeah,
like we floated in
in
and
Georgia.
out, but we just kept in Georgia and kept stuff there. His mom moved to California. Dad was like, I think did he move to Cleveland at that point? Maybe. I don't remember. But
Yes.
so I had nothing. I had nowhere to stay in Georgia. I didn't rent an
This is
apartment.
August 2017?
No, this is July 2017.
July 2017.
So I finished up med school at the end
Well,
of May.
how much stuff did you have at Rob's family's house?
I mean, like nothing. I had like 2 suitcases, 3 suitcases, and like
Yeah.
Michael, so let's pause right here. When you finish medical school, and when I finished vet school, my entire life fit into a Chevy Blazer that I drove down to South Florida.
Yeah.
Michael, how much did you have to move when you left medical school to go to New York?
To go to New York?
Yeah.
I mean, I moved to New York via airplane, so I didn't really.
yeah.
So what
Bring
did you have
anything.
anything?
No, I brought my clothes. I had like 2 or 3 duffel bags, and that was my life.
Because you sold your car.
I sold everything.
Okay.
No, I
And
I
then-
kept my car. I kept my car in at Dad's house.
okay.
I think that was when I did that.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
and
Tommy, back to your story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I had like, I think I had a bed somewhere that it was staying somewhere. It might not have, I think it was at Rob's like garage or something. So I had like a bed, a dresser, and then like 3 suitcases. And so I was moving up to Chicago, but I had planned to go to Thailand like months before. And when I was moving in, I moved to the subsidized housing that was behind the hospital that I had an intern year, but they wouldn't let me move in until like 5 days before we started intern year. And I was
Which
like,
also had a beautiful view about it. It was actually really.
is literally the greatest view of Chicago you could ever
Yeah.
ask for, but it was the
Yeah.
crappiest apartment you could ever see in your entire life, which is
Yeah.
a double. But I mean, I was 20 feet from the hospital, so it was great.
Yeah, but you got the views though.
Yeah, I mean, the views are great. Caitlin always
Yeah.
tells a story on like her second date. I was like, hey, you want to come up and see the views?
And then she's like, "Oh, this is pretty
Yeah,
nice."
she was like, actually, the view's sick."
guy, Tommy, this guy.
Yeah, he's just trying to get with me, okay. And anyway, so I couldn't move in. I was like, well, I'm gonna be in Thailand when we move in. And so
Because
I paid,
the subsidized housing, the apartment complex place, the building,
the
wouldn't-
building.
the resident before you didn't move out or something.
Yeah, so they wouldn't let me move in. So I was like, well, what
Yeah,
the hell am I supposed to
Classic
do?
mix up.
Yeah, it's like, 3 days
This
before
happens,
you
like-
start intern year, you're supposed to move everything. It's like, great.
This is like literally deja vu for every big city. And this is what, and so not to interrupt you, Tommy, put a pin on
Yeah.
you for a second, but this is what people don't understand with, like, when you're in med school, traveling around to rotations, and then you're bouncing around months at a time. Like, you don't have any stuff. You don't have an actual place to stay. You don't have anywhere to call home.
No.
It's just, you're just all over the place. And then you move somewhere for a year, and you go to another spot for a year. It's just like you just pick up your whole life and move it multiple times. And that's what
Yeah.
people don't really
all,
understand.
all while paying
Yeah.
50 grand a year and working 80 hours a week,
Yeah.
which is asinine. You get paid $0. You pay 80 or 50 to $80,000 a year, and you move every month.
I mean, I couldn't even afford a one-way ticket to New York, much less moving
No.
company or anything like that. That's why I only brought 3 duffel bags. But anyways, Tommy, back to your story.
Dude, I didn't have just a point on that. I didn't even have an apartment. Like, I didn't even sign a lease or have an apartment or anything my 4th year. And I lived out of a suitcase and a carry-on for 6 months, going around to all where my friends lived, and I did rotations there. And I was like, I went
Yeah,
to
just
Seattle.
bounce around.
I went to Chicago. I spent a month at each of these places. Jacksonville, like went to Tampa. I spent like a month at each of these places. Didn't even have an apartment at all.
Yeah, just bounce
Anyway.
around. That's what you do.
So I couldn't move in. And so what I did was I scheduled movers to move my stuff out of Jim's guest bedroom to my new apartment. But I was like, all I need
That's
is
right.
Wait,
you
Jim's-
so
live
hold
in my
on.
guest bedroom.
Hold on. So your stuff was still in Georgia, but you had like some of your stuff in
No,
Jim's.
so I drove all my stuff up to Chicago from Georgia in a
That's
U-Haul.
right.
And I
wow.
left it in Jim's guest bedroom because I was
That's
like,
right.
well, then I like 2 days later I went to Thailand. And then I paid movers to take all the stuff from Jim's place to my new place in the like
And
apartment.
then I took
complex.
it out of the truck for you.
No, you didn't do anything. All you it's literally I made it as easy as possible. All Jim had to do was just be there to let them in and to be like grab the key from the people that I was like doing the
Yeah,
apartment.
that's
Jim's
a
like,
big task for Jim.
yeah, Jim was like unbelievable. I have
I
to
know
move
he like
all
has
this
to do
stuff.
one task. He was
I mean,
probably thinking about it for 2 days
He
straight.
didn't lift a finger, and it took about 30 minutes of his
finger.
time.
Okay.
And then he
this
gets to
guy's
my
a-
apartment and goes, "This is so
finger.
small, no one could ever live here." The movers
Okay.
moved everything.
Okay.
I paid-
First of all,
I paid for movers.
the movers. First of all, the
Let's hear
mover.
Jim's side of the story.
Yeah.
The movers went to the front door and then they claimed that they couldn't even get through the front door. And so I had to move everything from the front door into various places of your room. And then I also had to organize your bedroom.
You didn't have to organize my bedroom.
Okay, well, then who put the bed in the actual spot when you got there from Thailand?
I mean, yeah, thanks. But like, I didn't say you had to organize it. I
You're
was
fucking welcome.
God. Tommy was drinking
Also-
beer in the middle of the out of nowhere.
yeah.
Also, I for some reason had to take trash down to the dumpster for something.
I know. What you're
and-
gonna say.
The dumpster smelled so bad, I literally could not go into the hallway where the dumpsters were because it was like an underground dumpster situation.
Did it remind you of that scene from Star Wars?
It smelled, yes, in the trash compactor. And it smelled so bad that I put the trash down on the ground and walked away. I said, I can't do this. It was like 10 feet from the dumpster because that's as close as I could get to it.
Wait, why? I don't understand. Wait, so it was a room?
Why? Because it was trash. What do you why? Why does it smell bad? This
Trash
guy's
smells
asking
like
why trash
trash.
smells bad.
Can't believe this
Why?
trash smells like trash.
God.
Wait, so-
why did it smell bad?
Okay, now I'm a surfer. Wait,
Yeah.
Hey,
so
bro.
I know. Tommy,
Ah.
so wait, did you throw the trash away? How was it? Give me what you think about the smell of the trash.
I don't know what I ended up going
I had a trash
again.
shoot, bro.
Tommy's in Thailand,
Oh, okay.
you know,
You didn't know about the
having
trash
the
shoot,
festival of
Jim?
the moon or whatever
Full moon
every white
festival?
college
Moon
kid does
festival?
when they go to
Yeah.
Thailand.
Oh God.
Ko PP. Ko
Yeah,
Samui?
Koh God, I don't even remember what island it is. No, so
Ko-
Jim
Ko Samui.
Jim effectively had to do nothing. He's the entire struggle of
Effectively.
this is based on.
I effectively
Effectively.
spent my afternoon
Yeah.
supervising this
He said, you didn't have a kid There was
without
nothing-
any pay.
He goes, it's all based on the ceilings were very small and the apartment was small. So Jim was like, this place is so small, I can't even stand in here.
And it
the
wasn't
just-
that small.
No.
So,
I mean, yeah,
I
it
had
was
a little
small.
bit-
It was a studio.
That
So the
smells like New
smell
York bar.
got to me.
Yeah. So
And I
trash.
was like, oh my God. And then the other thing that got to me was the fact that it was so small. I started having flashbacks to my first apartment that I lived in during my residency.
Now
I
he
mean,
had
how dramatic
flashbacks.
is this?
Oh, he's
How
so
dramatic.
I was like, I can't be here anymore.
Flashbacks.
I was like, I can't be here anymore.
He
I
had
can't be seen around this.
flashbacks as if he was demoted.
This guy smelled trash and it's gonna ruin the entire spirits for. He's like, I can't believe I had to smell trash.
I can't be here. I can't be seen here.
Yeah. I mean, he's like,
so
"Oh,
dramatic.
how did I get demoted? Wait, so you had a trash chute. Jim didn't know about the trash chute, so he went all the way down to the floor,
Yeah, pretty much.
the basement, the sub basement trash chute.
Right.
I mean, could you imagine though? You have 20 floors of building just tossing trash and it exploding at the bottom. I mean, that's probably why it smells so bad. Oh, it's Brutes, McGibbs.
Wait, was it air conditioned, Jim?
Air conditioned.
Nothing like hot
There's
trash for the summer.
Stagnant underground Chicago trash air.
Oh,
It's
God.
like New York City subway air.
There's
Dude,
always like-
sometimes I'm sure
Subway
New York's the same way,
sucks,
but like
bro.
you find yourself underground in Chicago and the right little like draft of air goes by you and you're like,
Oh, New York is like that on the streets.
yeah.
You don't have
That's
to be
true.
underground.
I said this when I went to New York for the first time. I said, I've never walked somewhere where you can smell like human shit mixed with trash. And then the next gust of breeze is like the greatest smelling pizza you've ever smelled in your entire life.
Yeah.
And it just goes back and forth as you walk down the street. It's like, oh my God, what is that? And it's just like 20 bags piled above your head. And then you keep walking and you're like, oh my God, is that a croissant shop? Like, these smell amazing. It's like fresh
it's
baked bread.
disgusting.
God,
But then
back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
Did you ever? So this was probably, I don't know if they still do this, but like 10 plus years ago when I first moved to New York, there was a street that was voted the smelliest street in New York City.
Which street was it?
The worst smelling street in New York City. Yeah, look
God,
it up.
that's
It was
hilarious.
in Chinatown. We happened to be we ate at a restaurant in Chinatown, and this article just came out, and I was like, how bad could it be? Because we were right around that corner.
Really?
So we actually went to the smelliest street. It was like Mott Street or something. I can't remember. It's in Chinatown somewhere.
God, that's funny.
Look it up, Jim, or someone. And
the smelliest street.
we went on the smelliest street. It was in Chinatown, and it smelled like we turned the corner and we were on the street, and it smelled like I was caught between like a trash compactor and like a farm, like an animal farm. Yeah, Broome
Really?
Street.
Was it this?
Yeah, this was it. Yeah, it was in Chinatown. What year was this?
2021.
Oh, maybe they still do it, or maybe it's still the most smelly street in Manhattan.
Oh, actually,
You think there's a plaque hanging up on the street?
the block of Broome Street between Allen and Eldridge is the smelliest block in New York City. The New York Times Magazine tested the area with a number of olfactory experts, also
Who
known as
agreed?
people with noses and intact brains, who all agreed it is the worst smell known to the city. How could you possibly say that?
Jim, no. We were looking for this street because we couldn't remember what street it was.
Oh, God.
We just knew the general like block it was on, and we came across it. It was right there. It was like the doors that go up and down, the like chain link doors, and it
Yeah.
smelled so putrid over there.
What
They
are
were
the-
so there
what
was
is
like
this?
investigations because they thought it was like someone was having like farm animals in there or
This is
something.
why this will. I was going to say it's got to be raw meat. So
Yeah.
a local magazine conducted an investigation of the smell and figured out that the smell was coming from stacked boxes of raw poultry that had been marinating in the sun.
Oh, I mean,
The smell is technically legal, so the legendary scent of Broome Street lives on unopposed.
Oh my God.
I want to
But-
meet an olfactory expert, and I want to tell them that their entire career is a fraud.
well, yeah.
Look up olfactory.
You just-
Not old.
You can just hire Adriana. She has the best nose in history.
Yeah.
I can't smell anything.
She's
But
like
the
a
worst
bloodhound.
taste.
She's like, what is that, Michael? You smell like trash.
The olfactory. Look at her. She's an olfactory expert. Oh,
Like if
good
you
one.
evolve to be like any animal with an insanely good sense of smell, like say a dog,
or bear.
their noses are huge.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, I mean, she's still a human.
Jim's like, you
Scent
would
is
think she would be a dog by now.
Yeah.
You would think she'd evolve into a different species by now. Scent is
how
incredibly
evolution
powerful,
works.
but we don't really have words for it. Yeah, I mean, scent. I think that's the word for it,
Yeah.
right there. Smell.
Smell.
I think we've already determined what the word is.
It's weird how that works. Yeah. You're writing an article, so
Is
clearly
this
we
her
do.
saying this? Oh my God, an olfactory expert would say something like this. Like, we don't really have words for things like scent and smell.
AKA is subjective.
Yeah.
One of my
If you
favorite
picked up a
things.
neurology textbook 10 years ago, there were 0 sections on smell.
I doubt that.
I highly
mean,
doubt that.
Also, it depends on what general neurology book have you looked at. Just the one that
What do you think,
happened.
You think they updated Guyton in the last 10 years to include smell?
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
We forgot to add smell in Guyton, so we added it in 2015.
It's always been this underdog of a sense.
oh,
Oh,
my.
wow.
I think one of my
Anyway.
biggest pet peeves is when people like aggrandize what they do.
Yeah.
Make it sound like it's the greatest thing ever. I'm like, relax, okay? We're all just doing a job.
Yeah, but it's the same thing. It's like no one can really test how good they smell. Like how do you test that? it's just subjective. He's a
I mean,
PhD.
I can't
in
smell for
smelling.
shit. That's because my left nostril is closed from my deviated septum.
Same. I have a big
Yeah.
nose and can't smell anything.
Yeah. I got
Yeah,
one.
Tommy
good
and I
one,
got regular noses.
Yep. I got the
Yeah,
big
but my septum
Cellini
is
schnoz.
deviated, so it
You got
doesn't work.
The Cellini schnoz.
But
I
like
could-
Tommy, I have a deviated septum and I can't smell
Yeah.
anything. So that's
Yep.
cool.
Should probably get that fixed at some point. Michael,
Yeah.
did you switch your screen up to the portrait mode over there?
No, this I always had it like that.
I always thought it was like landscape, like horizontal.
No, this one's always landscape.
Yeah.
This one's my dictation window.
Nah. It's
Gotta
probably
have
good
it
to
nice
have
and
like that.
long. You
So
know.
you could do your Twitch chat like that.
Oh yeah, I could, but I don't.
Yeah.
Not over there.
Yeah. What are you gonna do?
I don't think my practice would allow me to Twitch stream on their computer.
Yeah, probably not. All right, Jim. Do you have any topics for us?
I do. I just want to let you guys know that I have COVID fatigue, and if I read about monkeypox and polio, I can't care anymore because I'm physically incapable of caring. Please discuss.
I don't read any topics on that stuff anymore because like we texted at 8. All the news is doom and gloom. It's been
Yeah.
that way since COVID started. And I mean, obviously there's some truth behind it, but like it's just coming too much.
They-
Like, it's just
They're
too
just
much.
grasping at straws, and they'll be like every single like day thing for COVID. Look, COVID is a real thing. There is an infection. It causes problems, but like you get vaccinated and like you are relatively safe. Like it's been okay lately, and it's like
Yeah, I
every
mean,
single
there's
any
no. I always
spike-
judge it. I judge it by how many positive lung CTs or lung X-rays I see in COVID positive patients. Because, like, I feel like a lot of people in the hospital are COVID positive, and they just become COVID positive when they're there. Many of them
Yeah.
don't have symptoms, and I mean, I can't even remember the last time I saw a lung finding of someone with COVID.
yeah, or at least not like
it's-
a residual CT from like 2 years ago that they had it. And
Yeah, it's
like,
been months.
yeah,
Yeah, people are so
Relax.
desensitized now from COVID spikes. Like, yeah, cool, whatever.
yeah,
I mean,
Yeah.
there's nobody wears masks on the airplane anymore. No one wears masks in the airport. No one travels and
Dude.
stuff. That just doesn't. Everyone's like,
Yeah.
yeah, okay, cool story. Now
was
they're
at-
like, oh crap, no one's paying attention to COVID stuff anymore. Let's hurry, get something together. Monkeypox is
Dude.
coming. Let's get that.
yeah.
I was at work the other day, and like our work is thinking about going back to like mandatory masks because of
Oh,
I don't know why, to be honest with you.
I mean, my hospital has mandatory masks, but it's
Yeah, me too.
yeah.
I was
It's a
actually
human
thinking about
hospital.
that today.
Yeah.
I was like, when is that gonna? I wonder if that's ever going to go back.
It drives me nuts.
Like realistically, will masking in the hospital ever go back to normal?
Like what? Yeah, so okay, I'll pause my story. What is it? What would it take for you? So first of all, why do you have to wear masks at the hospital still?
You had to. I mean, we wear it kind of around if we're walking around the hospital or if we're seeing patients. But like if we're just in our workrooms and like, around our radiology area, like nobody really
Right.
Yeah.
wears a mask because it's that's just how things are pretty much normal now.
I think that it's mostly in the hospital. It's just like so we don't give it to patients. That's
Yeah.
mostly like the fear there is just to be like,
Right.
hey, there is an infectious disease going around. Even though, like, yes, it's comparable to flu, but it's like, it's probably helpful not to give the flu also to people that you see that are sick that you're seeing
Right.
as a doctor. It's like I get
Right.
that. Is it annoying? Yes, it's very annoying to have to walk in every day and like grab a mask, but it's not too terrible in the hospital. As long
I
as
mean,
you have the
I think about that when we leave. I mean, I know masks are pretty cheap, but by our door at the front entrance of the hospital, I mean, there are just hundreds of
Oh, yeah.
masks every single day just thrown away. I was like, how much is this costing
just in there.
the hospital? And I don't know. I don't know if it'll ever go back, honestly, in our field.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think
I,
unless you get like a smaller hospital or something, maybe. I will say it's kind of nice when you have like horrible. I can tell I have horrible coffee breath, or like I go eat something and I have to go run out to go see a patient.
Okay.
I'm like, I bet my breath smells terrible. And I'm like, a yoink.
Yeah,
Problem
little
solved.
mask. I know it is pretty nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
My nose is
That's-
running or
that's the nice
something. I'm like,
part.
what are you? No one's gonna see this.
I
That's
just
what
like covering
Adriana-
up my resting bitch face.
Even though her office still requires wear masks, and I don't know if they're going to drop it or anything, but if they do, I told her, I was like, you should still wear a mask because you're so close to people's faces. You're just like breathing all over them. It's weird now. I don't know. I guess
Yeah.
it wasn't the case, but like she did the treatment on me. She was like, so she didn't wear a mask, obviously, but she was like so close to me. I'm like, you're like breathing all over.
You're like, God, get out of here.
I know. I'm like, see, this is why you wear a mask. You should wear a
Yeah.
mask. She's like, oh my God, I never thought of that.
It is kind of
And,
strange though that you just get breathed on. You're like,
Well,
oh,
that's how you used to just breathe
all
and be like,
over people.
and all over their head, just
Yeah.
injecting it. And
And they're just
Dennis would just be in your face, just like breathing on you and stuff.
Yeah,
It's so
Yeah.
odd. You
it's
know,
a strange thing.
yeah, it's weird, but
I knew a guy, a neurologist who was one of my mentors like years ago,
Okay.
and and he would do surgery because you're talking about like just bleep it out. Just bleep it out. Just bleep it. Throw a bleep in there. Mark the time.
Okay, all right. Tell the story.
And,
Don't
and he would
say
do
that.
surgery. He would do surgery, and I would literally watch sweat go off his brow into the surgical field.
You're not had to add that at all.
Because you made me think of this because you're talking about like people breathing on you. And I remember I would literally look across the operating table because I was assisting and like flushing and stuff. And I would see sweat go down like this, like down, and then his nose, and then dip, dip.
Oh,
It was
God.
it was literally going into the surgery field.
Oh yeah, I've seen surgeons just sweating nonstop.
And then he would take the flush bulb and just go boop, 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 like that, like to flush it all out because he knew it was happening.
Oh my God.
Dude, I will
Dude,
say,
I didn't say anything because like I was terrified of the guy at the time.
God, that's funny. I will
But
say
he
there's hilarious things surgeons will do that when you're a student, and you're like, or they break scrub just aggressively all the time. And meanwhile, you like touch one thing as a medical student, the scrub techs are like, get out of this OR right now. You
I know.
don't belong here. Oh God,
Yeah.
that's funny.
Dude, if you want to get into like surgeons being assholes, there's a whole class of specialists who were they got their board certifications in the 80s before like specialty vet med was really even a thing,
Yeah.
and they've been practicing for decades just already. And I saw a guy one time. I was helping him with taking a spleen out of a dog on like an overnight emergency, and he asked the technician to pull up the x-rays, and she goes on this dog. He goes, no, the other dog that we're cutting at midnight. Of course, this dog.
Well, I mean, on
And
this dog.
he was like the most rude person ever. Like one time we were doing quote unquote grand rounds, which is really just like emergency doctors talking about, I don't know, some toxin. And like one of the criticalists and like the medical director of the hospital, this guy, he goes in this like a 15-minute monologue about like the blood products, and he's like chewing out the practice owner about how we don't have enough like packed reds and we can't do transfusions. And this guy is just like clearly had pent up issues, like, you know, resenting the practice and how it's run. And then after he's done, the surgeon, who uses blood products all the time because all of his patients, you know, he's cutting things that are like hemorrhaging, and he goes, Brian, I just realized, where exactly are the blood products located in the hospital? And like out of all that, like all he wanted to know was just where they were, like because he had no idea where they were. And Brian goes, God damn it, Michael, and just like, slammed his hand on the desk. And
Oh God.
it was amazing, dude. This I can't say his full name, but like this guy was like one of the biggest a-holes.
I'm surprised.
Sometimes he was
usually you love to give people's names on the podcast.
I won't say his full name. I don't even think he practices
Susie Robinson
anymore.
lives at 4393 West Street.
Yeah. Just like Bert Kreischer. Just
I know, he
throw-
really
yeah.
is.
He's like, here's
I
my
wish I was
phone
Bert
number.
Kreischer.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, guys, shifting gears a little bit.
All right.
What's your favorite color? No, I'm just kidding.
Shifting gears from sweating in the surgical field.
What's your favorite procedure to do, Michael?
Quick and easy. I like quick stuff. I don't know.
Oh,
Are
I'm
you guys the
shocked by
same way?
that.
Are you guys the same way as me? Yeah, that's me. You know, I gotta finish and get on to the next thing.
I mean, to be fair, that's me too. Like I can't.
Yeah, some people could sit and perseverate like in the OR for like 4 hours, and they like these big long cases. I remember
I've
'cause
got a
in my-
3-hour max, and I'm like, I can't do this anymore.
3 hours. I have a 45 minutes to an hour max.
Yeah, I
and
got
then
like 20 minutes.
I have to
3
do
hours
something.
would be like a brain surgery that I do.
Yeah, I mean that's too much for me. That's why I didn't do that stuff. But we used
Right.
to do in my first year internship when I did surgery, we did all the breast surgery, and we would share the OR sometimes for the when the plastic surgeons would do the deep flap reconstructions where they take one of your muscles in your abdomen and they basically supply the new breast tissue and create a new breast reconstruction after a mastectomy with that flap.
Okay.
And I mean, as you can imagine, tediously dissecting out those small
With
perforating
perforators and stuff.
perforating
Oh,
vessels
God.
in the abdomen to transfer it to the breast and create a new breast out of it and connect those tiny vessels with like giant microscopic loops and everything. I'm like, this microsurgery, it was at least 8 to 10 hours of surgery. So we would do the breast component, we'd do the mastectomies, and then they would come in and they would be there forever.
Yeah.
Like forever. They would come in at like 9:30, 10 a.m. And I mean, they were there 5, 6 p.m. I'm like, guys, what?
How long?
This
How
is
long is one
insane.
doctor continuously doing surgery for during that?
I mean,
The whole time.
Yeah, the whole time.
The whole time.
Yeah.
Whole
They
time.
don't have like switch outs and stuff like that.
No,
No.
no.
I mean, they
Whole
may
time.
take like
Oh my!
breaks. I've seen occasionally people like scrub out and take like 5-minute break.
Yeah, let's take a little
Recovery
break, get some
stuff,
water,
yeah.
and go to the bathroom or something. But I'm like, how?
So that's normal.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's
yeah,
not,
that's
like,
normal.
uncommon. Yeah.
You
I mean,
don't
some
hardly ever
hospitals-
see that in vet med.
Yeah, I mean, there is no surgery that's like short. Maybe like
What's the-
umbilical hernia repair, but like
Right.
nothing's
What's
like
the-
short.
Just like a lumpectomy, maybe.
What's
Those
the
are, like,
longest you've ever heard of a doctor by like one continuous amount of like doing surgery?
I've seen those like neurointerventional guys. I wasn't like witness to it, but like the neuro guys, they've done like super long surgeries where they'll go
Oh,
like
yeah.
back to back, like 10-hour surgeries in like one day. And that's like, it's crazy to me. they'll
What?
do. Yeah. They'll do these like super intense, like micro invasive brain surgeries. And they're like, yeah, it lasted like 12 hours. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, they do crazy stuff, and even the neurointerventionalist stuff, like the legend over at Sinai, Dr. Berenstein. He's like the only one in the world that does Vena Galen treatment. Vena Galen embolizations is like this congenital abnormality, and he is in there. I'm not joking. From like 7 a.m. until 7, 8 p.m. at night. Sometimes
Yeah.
and he's wearing lead the whole time.
Oh,
He doesn't. He sits down now because he's old. He's like
Yeah.
he's like 80 or something, maybe older than that. But he's the only one that does them, so he just keeps doing them.
Dude, some of these older dudes are just wired different.
Yeah. They really
Yeah, they are.
They can
Longest
just
surgery.
stand. I don't
The
get
longest
it.
one I've ever done is like 6 hours, and I basically wanted to die halfway.
Well, the thing
into it.
is-
so I was
the
like,
thing
I've
is
got
is-
3 hours left.
Oh yeah, my fellowship, I did plenty of 4-hour plus cases, and I was like, I can't take this anymore.
Oh, no,
But-
man.
I know my limitation, and I know my attention span, so I just don't do those cases.
Yeah.
Like it's not fun for me. My coworker Matt, like he loves doing stuff that's like 2 or 3 hours. He's like, I'd much rather be in there than reading studies. And I'm like, nope. I'd much rather have a nice controlled
I
environment
like to do this.
where I know how long it's going to take and I know when I'm going to leave.
I would rather do something I can sip coffee while I'm doing it.
Yeah, precisely.
Yeah. Some
That
people
is-
don't. And I'm glad not everybody's the same because that would suck.
Yeah,
Yes, it would.
What's the longest IR procedure that you think? Like a leg or something like that?
Yeah, we've done some long leg revascularizations, or
Yeah.
we did like some portomesenteric or like venous reconstructions. Those are
Oh yeah, the venous.
brute.
Yeah, I remember the venous reconstructions of the IR guys that my residency would do. That would be like these huge, extensive, like fem bypass things, and I'd be like, oh. I went to when I was on IR, I went to a leg one time. I was like revascularize a leg. And we
Huge
were in there
mistake.
for so long, and I was just standing there like holding a wire every like couple seconds, like handing him stuff. And I remember at that time, I was like, I will never, ever go back into like a limb like vascular thing ever again. And
That's
was
what I
like,
said after fellowship. One of the senior guys over at my fellowship would do these legs, and he would start them at like 9 p.m. at night.
Oh, they always start them
like these outpatients at 9 p.m. And I'm like, what are we doing?
yeah,
Why would we
dude,
not do this in the morning?
they've
And
got
it'd be
3
like
p.m.
4 hour, 6 hour cases of like stenting and trying to get through. And I
It's
was
just
like, never
so
again
tedious.
will I do one of these cases because I just
mean-
can't. I don't have the brain, the like capacity to do it.
I mean, there's only
Right.
so many times I can watch a wire go like this on an angio. Go,
Yeah, exactly.
God, that sounds brutal.
for like
Painful.
hours straight.
It's like
you're
it's like when you're watching your little brother try to play a Nintendo game that they can't function at.
yeah,
Yeah,
but you're
exactly
standing
what
in
it's like.
lead and you can't touch anything because you're scrubbed in.
That used to
Yeah, it's
suck.
great.
When Michael used to insist on playing like Super Mario, and I'd have to like take turns, watch him take his turn. It was awful.
Okay.
Like, okay, he falls into the pit. I clearly would have jumped over that. I'm like, yeah, I know. Jump here.
He's so
jump
inferior
here,
to my video game playing.
I
jump
know.
here.
God, Michael, you
Yeah, but-
suck.
Yeah, but my COD
Jump,
skills
Michael.
are back.
Ooh, there you go. Mobile COD.
Yep. Mobile
Yeah.
COD.
Jim, what's
Get
that?
with it.
So is it like brain surgeries are the longest thing you do?
Probably the longest thing that I have not done this, but the longest surgeries would be cervical like fusion surgeries in these like giant Dobermans and Mastiffs and stuff like that. Those would be or like fractures. Sometimes dogs get these like L7 S1 luxations after automobile trauma, and like it is literally like impossible to get them back into place sometimes. Because all the muscles just lock. I mean, I'm sure it's the same way with people, but I think with people, they probably have devices and instruments that are much better at like getting traction and stuff like that.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
they have like
probably.
specific
Yeah.
whole
Yeah.
sets designed.
I mean,
for
in
each
dogs, you just
specific
literally have a
possibility.
bone clamp in your hands, and that's it. Like that's all
Really?
I have.
Oh, they'll
So,
have
like-
like a gadget that you can like drill it into place and then drill through it. Everything's like very
Yeah.
Lego
My
style.
I don't mess with implants too much because I didn't really learn how to like use them and like measurements, and I never really learned that. So I always like have somebody like a surgeon do those types of surgeries. But my colleague in Chicago, I helped him with one time because he literally couldn't reduce this like L7. Like L7 was here and the sacrum was like this.
Mhm.
Like, that's how it's supposed to be, and it was like that. And he literally couldn't do it. And I took two bone, and I'm telling you, all of my might, I was like, I'm just like holding it right there. And I'm just like bracing it. And he's like, don't move, don't move, don't move, don't move, don't move. And he's trying to get like
Screw in or
the
something.
set pins in to keep it
Oh
in place.
my God. That's
And he just goes,
brutal.
he grabs it, he puts it in the drill, puts it in the drill. He's like, okay, I think we're good.
God, that's
He was like,
brutal.
he put him in. He goes, holy shit, Jim. He goes, I've never seen anybody do that. I swear to God, he said that.
Is there anything worse when you're scrubbed and you're having to like do something physically demanding? You're like, oh my
Yeah, because
God.
it's so easy to break sterility.
Oh yeah. I mean, the sterility goes out the window though when you're like that. It's like, what am I supposed to?
goes
It goes out the window.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I
this
think
guy
it should
acts like,
stay in the window.
nah, it's gone.
Yeah, I think
See
it's
what-
about the sound. I think you should definitely do. How does it go out the window?
Because if you're doing that, then you're not gonna. You're
Well,
not
I mean,
gonna
if
stay
you're, like,
sterile.
Maximizing your
Yeah, I mean, if you're giving
weightlifting
100%
in the
effort,
OR.
yeah.
Yeah.
I can't imagine those like ortho guys are when they're trying to bang something in there. That it's
Yeah, but they wear a
perfectly-
full gear though.
Yeah, but that's mostly for
spacesuit.
them. Yeah, they do wear a spacesuit. I forgot about that.
That is
Yeah,
wild.
so they're always around it. I mean, because everything of theirs is covered, so they're always sterile. They have to
Yeah.
be. I
What is
mean,
the
those
spacesuit
those
for?
things get
Is it-
infected so easily.
Is it just like more sterile than a mask? Is that the simple?
I think
Well, yeah,
that's
because
what-
they're banging and throwing blood like all over the place. Is they're
just
you know
flying
like
stuff,
swinging
everywhere.
hammers and stuff into bones,
Right.
so like blood and pieces of
And
bodily
they're, like,
fluids.
banging hammers.
Yeah,
It is brutal.
it's like you're chopping wood and like wood chips are going all over you.
Yeah,
Except it's blood.
yeah. I remember we were
Chopping
doing like
wood.
we had to do RFO like radio pig foreign object clearances for the ortho people after they do a hip or like joint replacement. And I would always look in the X-ray and there'd be a bunch of these like bone fragments. And I was like, are those when I was a first year, I'd be like, are those supposed to be in there? Do I have to call for those? They're like, no, that's just normal. I was like, okay. I was like, what was that?
Part of doing business.
Yeah. It's brutal. I saw a shoulder replacement when I was a med student. It's like one of the first surgeries I ever saw. And I was like, it was the only time in an OR where I was like, this is horrible. It was like an older lady. Had like a ketamine drip, so she wasn't like asleep, and she was like hallucinating during the thing, and she would be like moaning and moving during the procedure, and he was like banging the arthroplasty in there. And I remember being like, "What is going on?" I was like, or I think I was shadowing or something like that. As a
You're probably shadowing if you're like,
Yeah.
what on earth?
Yeah, and I remember being like, "Dude, what? You guys need to stop right now." I was like, "This." I was like in my head, I was like having a panic attack. Now looking back, I'm like, "Oh my god, that was."
Yeah, a lot of medicine and surgery and any procedural stuff is just not graceful.
Yeah,
I
forget
think
that
we
people
have
don't.
we have this like running, not joke is the wrong word for it, but like we always say, all of my colleagues that did fellowship together, we're like, I think the reason you do a fellowship is so that you can see like what the body can take. So like like your limits of what you can do in a procedure or what you can do in surgery. You know what I
Right.
mean? Because a lot of my field is like how hard you can push, or how like it's just all like to feel. That probably sounds worse than it is, but you know what I mean though.
It's rare that you say something like that, and I know exactly what you're talking about.
It's like a tactile field.
Yeah, when I first tried doing a spinal surgery, I literally like I would not even touch the spinal cord. I was like, I can't touch this. I'm not going anywhere near it. And the guy that was my mentor, he's like, look, that's a good outlook, but you have to touch it a little bit because otherwise you're doing nothing other than just opening this up. And then,
Yeah.
I was like, okay. But he like showed me like how much you can like gently push on it. You can gently lift under it. It's fine. You just can't like flick it.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
he was like, don't do anything fast. He was like, he's like, the spinal cord can be slowly pushed on, but it really does not like fast things happening to it. I was like, yes, sir. Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The spinal cord is crazy because you're like this little tiny thin piece of tissue, and it's like a little boop, and it's like, oh, by the way, your entire bottom half of your body doesn't work now.
Little cord of tissue paper.
Yeah, and it's like the little nerves that travel out your little freaking whatchamacallit?
Foramen.
Yeah, foramen. It's like one of those
foramen.
just you move it, and one of those goes boop. And it's like, oh,
Yeah,
well, now that's
off.
denervated forever.
Yeah. An entire group of muscles atrophies to nothing in 24 hours.
Yeah. Now you have problems related to that just because it goes like a little snap. That's
no,
great.
but it is like how hard, like you learn so much in your subspecialty training of how hard you push. Like for me, when we're putting in big wires and catheters and stuff, you know how hard to push, like how hard, when to stop, how hard to push, you know what's an acceptable tactile response. Like that's what you learn.
Yeah.
I guess my procedures aren't as involved as those.
So Tommy, are you going to actually do procedures as a breast imaging person, or do you just
do a
read?
lot? Yeah. He does everything. The breast radiologists do every procedure for breasts.
Yeah,
besides the surgery.
Yeah, we do all the with all the biopsies. I mean, there's multiple different modalities of biopsies. There's localizations, abscess drainages, all that kind of stuff. Like implant.
There you go. Like getting your hands in there.
Peri implant. So I did like 20 biopsies yesterday.
It's like IR light.
Yeah, it's literally, it's like the transition point from like abdominal imaging to like breast, and then it goes IR in terms of like the procedural fields in radiology.
Do you have any moments where you're doing stuff in like your day-to-day workflow and you're like, 4 years ago, I was literally incapable of doing this?
Yeah, I actually noticed that today, or like the other day I was doing like ultrasound guide biopsy, which are like probably the most like skillful of the things we do in terms of like procedures, just using an ultrasound and like trying to guide stuff in. I was like sampling some things that were like sub-centimeter and like right on the ribs and stuff. And I was like, man, if I tried this like 3 years ago, there's no shot I would be getting anywhere near this. I'd just be like, find your needle tip, find your needle tip. And I'd be like, I can't.
So it eventually just clicks.
Yeah.
Yeah. I recently did a neck surgery on a dog, and I was like, I did it in like 45 minutes. And I knew it was perfect. And I was like, everything is good. This dog's gonna do great. And it did. And I remember when the dog woke up, I was like, that would have taken me like 4.5 hours 5 years ago.
Seriously.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, of course. It's just how it goes,
All right. Well, guys, we're about the 1 hour mark. and
Yeah,
we're all
let's wrap
tired
this
because
up.
we work full time.
Yep.
Yep.
So we can get to sleep. Gotta get one more
I'm gonna be
workout in.
golfing. I'm gonna be golfing tomorrow. Michael's gonna go to freaking Beta Fit and workout tomorrow morning because he's a beta.
I mean, Michael
Yep.
looks like he's falling asleep right now.
I know Michael
I
is
mean-
so low energy. I can't even stand it.
I worked late, and then I couldn't go to sleep, and then I had to be up early again this morning to work. I feel like
What'd
I'm in
you-
fellowship the last 2 days.
What'd you do today? Was it IR or DR?
No, I
stuff?
did IR, but I did the 4 to 11 p.m. shift because our 4 to 11 p.m. guys on vacation, so we switch off.
Oof.
And then I do 11 p.m. It's basically a call shift till 11. But I drank so I was tired because I worked out in the morning, and then I just stayed up all day. And then at 4 p.m. I was like, oh my god, I'm exhausted, and I still have 7 hours of work.
Oh my God.
I was like, because I'm not trained. I do everything in the morning, and then
Yeah.
now I'm like,
That's when you're
I'm-
finishing your day.
when I finish my day at 4, like I'm like done. I'm like, all right, because I'm like at the top of my day until like 1 p.m. And then from 1 p.m. I've reached the acme, and then I just start trailing off. And then at 4 p.m. I'm like, perfect, I'm done. Let's get out of here.
Yeah.
But starting at 4, when I'm already on the lower end, so I chugged like 2 huge strong glasses of coffee to get me up to speed, which was great because it got me through the shift. But then when I laid my head in bed at like 11:15, I was like, and I couldn't fall
Oh,
asleep.
jeez.
And I was like, God. And then
That's
today
tough.
I was just in pure punishment of tiredness.
Working like what we do at night is the worst thing ever.
I know. But I mean, the guy that does this shift, he loves it because he sees his kids in the morning,
Yeah.
and he like takes them to school and everything, and then he works 4 to 11. Life is good. So he
Yeah.
loves the shift.
If
But
you're
he's on that
accustomed to
schedule.
yeah,
Yeah.
If you're on the schedule, you're like fine, but switching up, going back forth, impossible.
Yeah, it's tough. And I couldn't change
Yeah,
my
so-
morning schedule. So yeah.
So Twitch shout out before we go. Our best friend Cameron. I I had to insert something about him today because Cameron put an offer on a house. Cameron put an offer on a house,
Oh yeah.
got it accepted, and then chickened out because it was too much money and he didn't want to. He didn't want to buy the house, so he
No, he
backed out of the
didn't.
deal. Yeah,
That's
he
the
did.
most Cameron thing I've ever
He
heard.
backed out of the deal.
No.
He chickened out after he put an offer in. How pissed would you be if you were his realtor?
Why do you put the offer in?
I don't know. He puts the offer in, and
I
then
think
he's like,
I think you
he
just
had-
wanted to see if
something
it would get
happened where he
accepted.
had one more day to think about it, and he was like, I can't do this, and then he backs out.
Oh, that's
my
so
god!
funny.
Are they going to sell their house?
Yeah, shout out to all the cheap people out there.
Yeah.
I like it. I respect it.
We have our friend Cameron. Shout out Cameron. He's the cheapest person I've ever met in my entire life.
I love it.
Not even.
Shout out Cameron.
Not even remotely.
I mean, look.
close.
I respect it. I respect
Yeah.
the cheapness. You worked hard for your money. I respect it.
He said he said he was terrified that God forbid he gets the house and loses his job. He's screwed. I was like, oh, it's fair enough.
That's a reasonable thing.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
that's enough to scare me. Seriously.
Oh yeah.
That's
Dude,
why I always say
you
you need two lines of work. You need two
You
streams
buy-
of income.
a $900,000 house,
You lose your job.
and congrats, you're signing up for $5,000 a month forever.
Yeah. No, like I
5K a month.
I think Cameron is honestly smart there because he's thinking about it and he's like, hey, nothing in this life is for certain.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's just the way it unfortunately that's the way it goes. And so I mean,
Yeah.
I'm scared. And like I have a pretty secure job. And like I would be scared with that too.
Oh,
I know
yeah.
you're a multi-decade millionaire, and you're still scared.
Multi-decta. I with a pretty a pretty secure job, but I mean it's not no job is secure 100%, but a
Right.
pretty secure job and another social media side job that I can always rely on. But
Yeah.
I still like it gives me a little heebie-jeebies to like think about buying a
Oh, yeah.
house.
Oh yeah.
I'm
So
like,
much money.
I'd so much rather just rent and just be flexible and just be like, oh,
Dude.
sorry guys, I gotta move out. I can't afford this.
Yeah.
Dude, anything nice in my market is $900,000.
Easily.
And
So
dude,
much money.
if you're paying $5,000 a month for a mortgage,
Yeah.
like that means every month when you're going to work, up until the moment you've made $5,000, you've made nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Like
also,
you work
I
for
mean,
like I don't know,
Anything
2
goes wrong in
weeks
your house, by the way, it's 20 grand. Just like
or that.
yeah.
also the
But like you
taxes
work for
of the
2
house.
weeks and it's like, okay, I've accumulated $5,000 of like income for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I know.
All right, now we can start. Oh, I have 2 more weeks until the next mortgage.
Right. Now we're focusing on food.
Oh,
See, I mean, that's the
terrible.
thing though, is like we all own houses. What's that, Tommy? But
Hey-oo.
we own houses, but we rent them. So I at least feel comfortable. Like if I, if I miss a month or something, I'll at least get it back to later on or whatever. But to own a home and live in it, and then like say a $900,000 house, right? Because I feel like, I mean, everything is approaching $1 million.
Yeah.
Like every house around here is $1 million plus taxes, plus I don't know. What if you move in, $5,000 of rent or $5,000 of mortgage, and then your water heater breaks up? There you go, another couple $1,000s for the month.
Yeah.
There goes your equity.
$7,000. Yeah.
Everything everywhere. It's like it's like 850K minimum. And if
Yeah.
you're not at
not much.
850K,
Yeah.
The crazy part is all the people that come in and offer like over that just have more money than that are fine.
Dude.
That's the crazy part.
I don't think
Yeah.
I mentioned this on the last podcast, but I told you guys on text that we put an offer in on a house a couple weeks ago, and we got outbid by $100,000.
Yeah. Like, see you later, bro.
I'm like,
Yeah. You're like, who?
Good luck with that one.
we had an escalating clause, and they're
Like, yeah,
like,
cool, bro.
"No."
Cool
that's
story.
funny.
Yeah. But that's actually surprising given the current market, how it's still hot
Yeah.
like that.
And the realtor was like, "Yeah, some family from Texas is moving here, and they overbid." I'm like, "What?"
A guy with a huge belt buckle and a cowboy hat?
Yeah, and it's freaking zipper business or some bullshit where he just
Zipper business.
has
Zipper business or some
millions of
bullshit.
dollars.
My
I just picture
grandpappy
everybody
started a
having
zipper
these
business
random-
back in the 20s.
Yeah. Picture everybody these random small businesses, and then somehow they have like $10 million in the bank to just outbid me on a house. That's what I picture.
But they just sell
Yeah,
to a
pretty
private
much.
equity group, make like 20 million, and they're like, "Oh,
Yeah.
I'm done, and I'm moving." To
Well,
Rhode
we had
Island."
a good 2020 and I sold at the top. So you can't have this house, Jim. I'm going to move to Rhode Island instead.
I love them beaches.
The hat tip. All right, end this podcast, Jim. I
All
can't
right.
take this anymore.
All right, everybody,
Hat
please
tip to all.
please like the video, but more importantly than liking the video, subscribe to this podcast. We're like 30 subscribers away from our goal of 1,000. That's pretty much it. You guys, please subscribe to this podcast. Like, please, if you're listening to this, hit the subscribe button. Subscribe to Michael's channel, Dr. Cellini. Subscribe to my channel, DVM Cellini. I'm
Tommy's
coming up a
nothing.
little bit. My channel has definitely made a step up the last couple months. Just so you know.
Creeping on up, creeping on up.
Creeping on up. It's I think the camera is what changed it for me.
But
But,
I was actually gonna say that your last video you posted, the quality just looked so much better.
Well, the last
I
2 or
was-
3 videos, the quality.
I know,
has
but
been
I
so
just
much
I just
better.
happened to come across the last one like an hour ago before I started the podcast,
Yeah,
and I was like, this quality is so much better.
I know. So shout
out,
out to our
Jim.
channels. Go like and subscribe to them. Tommy has no social media presence whatsoever, so do not worry about him.
Don't worry about me.
He sits there and gives the thumbs up and says, "People do things for me." That's what he does.
Tommy and I will be taking a hiatus from the podcast for 2 weeks.
That's true.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
we'll
you
do-
guys are doing a Croatia.
Yep.
Yep.
Do it from Croatia.
I mean, if we can, I don't know how we'll do that.
Do a
We
phone.
don't have
Turn a phone
audio
sideways.
audio only.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Turn a
do
phone
that.
sideways.
Yeah.
I will see. I mean, we can just record it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We'll
we'll
see.
it'll be fun.
We'll see.
We can get Lawson on the podcast.
Yeah.
All right, we'll see. Yeah, more
Get
doctors. I
Lawson's
mean, there's
gut on
more
the podcast.
doctors. We're gonna have more doctors there than the spot.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Cellini's live from Croatia.
Yeah. All right. Sounds good, everybody. It's been real. We'll see you on the next one.
Peace out, guys.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Have a good week.